I see our crowd is filled with latecomers that wait till the last minute to leave their everyday life to come here and join us in the life of God. Well, so be it. We chant for 15 or 20 minutes before satsang, and that's probably the best time to come to get you in the receptive mood for satsang. But if you all want to wait until the last minute or even after we start to join, feel welcome. Like Max just did. Hell, join us after we finish. That's even better. Welcome. Welcome to satsang on Sunday. Welcome. I welcome you with all my heart. Even these latecomers that wait till the last fucking minute to sign on. At least you guys don't drink and eat during satsang anymore, which is a step upwards, I'd say. No more large cups of tea during satsang or eating a candy bar. Today I wanted to talk to you about what I'm all about. And that's your day of enlightenment. That's the day of your real birth. Before the day of your enlightenment, you lived in a very narrow and small, petty world. But the day of your enlightenment is when you wake up to your real nature. You experience God inside of you, arising from within you and exploding throughout the universe, as did Robert when he was 14. It's described in his transcripts, as did I in 2010. Everything changes after that. You pass from the mundane world into the divine. You realize you are God, which you later realize to be your own self. As the life force within you. You no longer identify primarily as the body, but with spirit. That wonderful, almost terrifying glimpse of God as incandescent light, white or bluish white, that fills you entirely and the whole universe around you. But inside, your third eye awakens totally to this bright light of God within. and you recognize it as you, even while you worship God in you as the vital force, the life force. You realize that greatness that you espy within is also you. That same life force that is universal and is every sentient creature in the world, all trillions and trillions and trillions of them, is in you. You are this God, this white light and bluish light. You're no longer limited to a body or a mind. The mind may make some comments like, wow, what is this? And then be swallowed up in utter captive silence. But from now on, everything changes for you. Everything. Those things you were interested in before, whatever they are, mostly disappear. And you become ecstatic when you hear chanting. You can become ecstatic when God shows himself to you from within. Your mind is utterly disposed of. You keep thinking, it keeps going on, but not in those initial periods when you're bathed in the incandescent light of God, that white, bright light. That white light is everywhere, washing you clean of the mundane world. And you can say out loud, in wonder-struck discovery, I am alive. I am alive as God within. I'm no longer just a body with a mind. They're there. And they sort of host this God within, the life force. Without the body, there would be no sentience, no feeling, no loving, no ability to move, to write, to sing. But essentially, the life force lives on the body and within. The body is the host. But what I am, the divine, is spirit, consciousness, universal. And yet I see that I myself am squeezed down into a body for convenience sake. Because if I just remained universal, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even make the body speak. But truly, this is your birthday. This is the day you arise in God, as God, and you realize you're an avatar. You are God incarnated into the flesh. And it takes you forever to realize this because of the 20, 50, 60 years of living in the mundane has led you to identify yourself as. And the identity, although snap, has residuals on you. But this is the day of your real birth, your birth in God. This happened to me 10 years ago. Everything changes, doesn't it, Mary? You start noticing the energies within. The energies flowing throughout your body, especially down into the fingers and the hands, wanting to go outwards to embrace the world. You constantly feel them flowing within you. And you can go for days in bliss, not wanting to move. Just lie on the floor in your living room, feeling the grace of God within, not daring to move because you're so ecstatic, you don't want to do anything to disturb it. You begin noticing also things that are strange to you. Gradually, you're aware of another body within and without that is also you, which I call the sense of presence. This sense of presence, this body, becomes more real to you than your physical body. It's a body of energy, of light, which reaches out into the world and interacts with the world on a divine level, not the mundane level that you had functioned with before as an individual, concrete, minuscule being in a world of billions and trillions of beings, each one competing for the limelight, for sustenance, for love. Because now you radiate love. Love is the entirety of your being. Love everywhere. Bright light everywhere. And your sense of presence grows over time. And you recognize that spirit in others. And then you learn to worship that spirit in others. And you love others in a very different way than you loved before. You don't love them as a romantic obsession or as a friend. or as a mother or father or child. You love them because they are as you, with and in God. And all day long you worship the other as yourself in God. You feel God's presence all the time within you and around you. It never leaves. There's not the slightest touch of loneliness that touches you, because you are with the life force, and the life force is within everyone. So you feel no loneliness. You feel only life, love, and the power of God within. Every minute of every day is worshiping God within. And you feel energy currents in the world around you that you never felt before, swirling around in the room with you. The walls and ceilings take on a different shape. They can become sparkling and flow themselves. Like a mirage. And no words come to mind to describe what you feel, what you experience, because the words aren't there for what you're seeing, feeling, touching. The term bliss hardly touches what you feel. The word or phrase God realization doesn't touch the depth of your experience, your elation. You're frozen in awe of what you are. And those energies course through your body, bringing it alive in a way that it hasn't been before. Parts of you that you haven't felt in years are suddenly alive in flowing energy within. You may develop telepathic powers for time. You may be able to touch others and they jump at the touch because of the spark or shock of Shakti that they feel. And many of you spend a lot of time listening to chanting for a kind of music that matches the elation you feel inside. The brilliant success of your life. That's how Jay experiences life, as a brilliant flowing of energy and love. I said, the moment of your enlightenment is your true birthday, your birthday in spirit, your birthday in God. That happened to Mary a few months ago on June 10. So Mary's a newborn, going on 4 months old. No, it's 4 months now. And she can't describe her experience, because every time she tries to describe her experience, she gets sucked up by God and carried away. And she's just frozen in mid-sentence, unless somebody kicks her in the ass, brings her back down to the mundane world so she can speak to us. So I call Mary now her new birth name, Mary of God. Let her forever be known by that in the future. Others are so touched also. Mark, Jay, who else is there? Cassie, Stevie, Maxie. But they haven't had the full God experience, as has Mary. Their tipping point has not come. They gradually grow in God realization now. And the longer it takes them, when the event happens, they become enfolded in God, and they change the way they talk, teach. Now I must submit to Kali's taking over my lap. Give up, Kali. PJ, this is what you've been looking for all your life. Not the electric shocks, but the real thing. It's still in the future for you. Do not despair. Do not give up, because it's your real nature. But you have to get rid of your mind, which keeps you trapped as VJ, and let God rip through you. But it's not a conscious thing. When it happens, it happens. And you're not really instrumental in making it happen. So you can't really strive and struggle to realize this in yourself. It just happens. When you least understand it, when you least think it's going to happen. Then all creatures, people, you become a beacon of light for others. I love you all. And I love you as myself, as the God principle, the life force that is in each of us. Your problem is when consciousness came to you as a very young person, you were born into a family that didn't tell you you were God. You're not your body. The body's merely the host for you, the life force and consciousness. Consciousness itself for you now becomes your celebration of the totality of the manifest world. The world that is created through you by the life force. And then you learn so many other things. You get to know the void, the vast emptiness which embraces all of the manifest world and yourself inside. When you look inside, there's just emptiness. And then there's the light also too, but it just illuminates the emptiness. And you feel the energies moving in your back, your head, your hands, your feet. You feel your sense of presence in the room as an entity, a spiritual entity, independent of the body. And this becomes your body, your sense of presence, your awareness, your sentience. Now you are a divine being, living in the divine rather than in the mundane world. The worst thing, your worst fear, is that this God realization would be taken away from you and you'll be flung back into that mundane world where you wake up in the morning and worry about your job, your kids, what to eat for breakfast. And the entire focus of your attention is on nominally the human condition as very compacted entities that do not know God, that do not know God's grace and God's energy. And you live as a lonely, fearful entity stuck in a bag of flesh. And that's all you've got. And you thank God for being there for you and with you. For you're happy. Not joyously, ecstatically blissful every moment of the day. But you're no longer that person you were before your real birth in God. Its presence is always there in you and with you. Pure flowing spirit. Pure light flows from you. You feel the energies. And you're in a bubble of happiness that extends everywhere. Tribulations come along, like me for the last 2 days, being wrapped up in paying taxes and straightening out the kerfluffle that happened because somebody forged 2 checks in our bank account. The bank closed the account. And we didn't know all the people that take money from us like a leech every month. And we had to contact them for the new joint account number. And I watched my credit fall from 802 down to 750. All because somebody forged some checks on our account, and the bank decided to close it because they didn't want to be responsible for any more forgeries. So I get very irritated when a situation like that takes me away from God. I get all upset that I don't know what the hell's going on with all of these different figures, numbers, and letters and signatures required, and writing checks or finding the correct account number. It's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. This is not me. That's my old world. It's my old world. I get irritated at having to deal with this petty shit. And as Robert said, when this kind of, even the nearness of this experience comes to you, the world becomes a place you have to live because your body's located there. But all you want to do is seek silence. Seek being close to your guru if you have one. Seek being close to your beloved because he or she brings you alive. I love you all. But it's a different kind of love than most of you would understand because it's not a human kind of relationship love. I recognize that I am a voice of God. I tell you about your own nature, which you don't know yet, to help you awaken to the light and life within. And I want each and every one of you to similarly have your own awakening experience, your own enlightenment experience, so that you can become messengers of God. That's what I want for you, is to be messengers of God and bringing God to the world. Mary, are you able to talk about this experience in yourself? Why not?
You said it all. I mean, I'm just ecstatic. Everything you said, you just explained. You explained me. You explained.
Well, you're a messenger now.
So desperately wish that I desperately wish I could eloquently That's what I wanted to do on Friday, but I can't. I wasn't able to.
Well, you'll have your own
But
mode of
you
expression.
spoke of it.
Maybe your way of expressing won't be verbally as conversation. Maybe it'll be through music. Maybe it'll be through mudra and esoteric movements, dance. Just express your delight in being alive. Say I love you to everyone you see. But be careful, because they don't know what you mean.
But you talked about everything, like the presence, when I tried to speak of that on Friday, but you said it. You said everything. Everything.
Oh,
The
I missed
third
the golden
eye,
light.
the light, the presence.
I didn't
No,
talk about
the
the golden
blue
light
white
this time.
light, and you didn't talk about the golden light, but the golden light is there. But the presence, I was trying to say that on Friday. There's a presence in front of me, beside me, and back of me. But you explained it so. Everything.
It's so good to feel
What a
appreciated,
joy.
that somebody actually understands everything I say.
Everything. I was literally, mean, first of all, my eyes were not closed. I had to stare at you. And mesmerized, but at the same time, I was so excited and full of joy and peace, and I'm like, and I recognized my voice coming out of you and being one.
Another mystical experience.
Everything.
One mouthpiece recognizes another mouthpiece as herself.
When I tell people I love them, but you're telling it's crazy. It's like you're telling yourself. If you're hugging somebody, you're hugging yourself. When you kiss somebody, you're kissing yourself. When I look in my puppy's eyes, you're looking at yourself. When they're licking you,
You're ecstatic.
You're ecstatic, like,
because you feel their worship of you.
Yes, and I when I see them, when I call out to them, and they come to me, and they, anybody could, like, you could all say, oh, but they're just stretching. That's what my family says. Oh, but they're just stretching in front of you. No, they're bowing.
Bowing.
They're bowing.
They're bowing.
Bowing to you. They're bowing to you, and I bow down to them. I literally, my family sees me that I'm literally bowing to them when they. It's crazy.
I used to bow down on the floor with them, but I can't do that anymore. It hurts too much because we have a tile floor now, and it's not too good on the knees.
Yeah, well, I'm down there. I'm
doing it
still
for me.
Down there.
I just wanted to highlight Mary of God, so that you know that she knows of totally what I speak. And someday she'll be up there with the great ones after she finds whatever her voice is. But right now she radiates it, even though she can't express it. So that's what we have to deal with now, radiation sickness. getting radiated by Mary.
Oh.
Raju, what do you think?
What you both are talking about is while others are trying to find a nucleus within themselves, you're talking about an atomic explosion that happened within you.
Yes,
And we're just trying to understand what explosion means, but
yes.
until we get there, we will not know what the explosion actually means.
Just
So,
know that it's desirable.
and every word that you said today is taking us towards the nucleus. Like you said, maybe others are not there, but once that explosion happens, you don't know when it will happen, but when it happens, all the feelings that you said, I remember from 30 years ago, Edgy, I don't know if you have read Upanishads and all that, but there they talk about Dvija. Dvija means twice born. So they talk about you have to die and be reborn in this lifetime
Yes,
to really be enlightened. So what you raised today is exactly that experience, that Dvija, to be twice born. And it is this explosion when you get to the nucleus is making you reborn, and suddenly the whole life around you, the whole life within you changes.
everything changes.
Everything changes.
Everything. You're no longer localized in a body. You are the totality of God, which means you are in all sentient beings. All sentient beings are within you. And you're all closer than brothers or parents or children. The closeness is so close. As Mary said, when you hug another, you're hugging yourself because you know how they feel, how they want, how they need to be comforted, and to feel that somebody cares.